The Xenon palette from Natasha Denona. I feel like it's really controversial because right now people are trying to decide whether to buy it or whether to not buy it, because I've heard many people rail against it, and it was actually the reason that I originally decided not to get it. However, I've thought a lot about it and I love the Midi, and it just felt like the Midi palette did actually have something that the Midi palette did not. I tend to really like Midi palettes from Natasha Denona because sometimes they have all of the depth of a Midi palette without the price point and without some of the colors that I can't use. However, I ended up changing my mind on the Natasha Denona palette because I decided that it had a ton of depth and that it looked beautiful. So I got it. This is the packaging that it comes in. I think it's beautiful. I've heard so many people say that it's kind of a boring palette color story, or that it's like super gray and they don't like that. But I have to say, I think that they're wrong. I'm going to scooch this side a little bit and I'll throw up these swatches in this corner. One of the things that I think they're wrong about is, first of all, the colors are very different from each other. And it's subtle, it's a subtle difference, but you can't tell me that this is a boring color story when you have those people that are obsessed with browns. This is a different take on that, and I couldn't really, this palette kept drawing my eye, which is actually why I broke down. I shouldn't say I broke down. This was actually given to me for Christmas because I asked for it, and I wasn't originally planning on it, but it's one of those things that the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I was wrong to begin with, and that the Midi didn't have all it was cracked up to be. So, I mean, looking at the swatches, you can kind of see some of the nuances. I swatched them with my fingers and then I swatched them with a brush. But also, I'm gonna hold up this. I think my lights are washing this out a little bit, so I'm gonna turn them off. I don't know if you can see that, but this one really does look a little bit pinkish. This one is more of a chrome silver. And then we have some other choices. So as much as people say that this isn't really like a good overall representation, these colors are very different. This one turns out a lot more navy. There's a lot of nuance in this palette that I feel like we get from boring neutral palettes, but that we haven't really seen from a gray toned palette. Even I think it's Cold Stone and Fox from ColourPop doesn't have this same kind of nuance to it where it has this like lightly pink or tan shade. All right, turn back on my lights. Oh, this is even a better angle. These are really true to color. So we can see like this one's more tan, this one's more pink, this one's more chrome, more blue. I think that people are really mistaken about this palette. So I'm going to do a couple of different looks with this palette. I've swatched it. I haven't really played with this palette other than that. So we're going to see together how it looks. All right, we're going to go ahead and dip into this color Sposh for this first look. Ooh, I think this is the cream to powder. It feels like cream to powder. And we're going to go ahead and deepen out this corner. Now, one thing that I've always really enjoyed about Natasha Denona is the pigment is just, it's there. And as much as people want to argue, because there are people that argue on that, I have just had really good luck with her formula. So I'm going to take the same brush and we're going to go into this shade M. This is that kind of navy-ish blue color. And we're going to kind of use this to smoke out that first color. Just a touch. Now going in with this flurry color. I love shades like this because I tend to use them to soften any lines that I'm not loving. Okay, loving that. I think I'm going to use this snowball color. This color that I keep saying is just a little bit pinky. And we're going to spray our brush. I have found that brushes don't always want to pick up Natasha Denona shimmers. If you can see, like, yeah, I picked up some, but you can see in the swatch video, they didn't really lay down that great. I tend to always spray them. So if you're finding that it's not going on really great, that's probably why. You're probably going to want to spray your brush to get maximum impact from that. So, and then we're going to go in with Snowball. See how much better that picked up? I'm going to go in with a lighter gray and kind of blend out that crease just a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and use Sturt. Now this is really similar to one of the colors in that mini palette. It doesn't, however, seem to be the same. Yes, I think that added everything that this look needed. Just a little bit more of flurry to kind of blend out any harsh edges. Boom. Beautiful. I really, really like that. I am going to pop on some lashes and I'll be right back. All right, let's do another look. Let's actually start with, ooh, I want to start with Ebb again. We're going to start with Night Sky to change things up. This time we're going to do, this is still going to be a fairly dramatic look. I would say that this one is probably going to be just a little bit more dramatic than that first one. And actually, Night Sky is pigmented. I'm going to kind of smudge some of that out because this is going to be a beautiful halo eye. And I've got just a little bit of excess right there, so we're going to kind of wipe that because although this is a trust the process moment, I got a little bit overzealous there. All right, I like that. We're going to soften this color just a little bit with some Sturt. I love the names of these. They're so funny. Because I think mixed with that Night Sky color, it's gonna be, yeah, that's pretty. This is the thing with Natasha Denona eyeshadows, is as much as people want to disagree with me, that is stunning. Alright, I'm also going to grab a different brush and put a little bit more of Sturt right above. Blend out some of that excess. Oh yeah, just a touch more of that Sturt color right here in the center because we're going to put a shimmer on top. And I don't really love always putting shimmers on top of nothing. Okay, honestly, by itself, beautiful. But we're going to take this skit color and put it in the center. Sorry, I'm like flipping you off. Wasn't on purpose. Alright, just a little bit more of that Sturt color to blend out some of that, to blend out some of the edges. I think we're golden. Alright, love that. I'm gonna put some lashes on and we can look at these one more time. Actually, before I put on lashes, I think I want to do something in this bottom corner. So we're going to take just a little bit of this is Nightfall, kind of rub that along the bottom just a little bit. Yes, I think that made it. Now I'm going to put some lashes on and I'll be right back. All right, I put some mascara on. I really like how that's looking. But we're going to take it off and do some lighter looks because these are really dark, very evening wear makeup. And I want to see, because I do have dark skin, I want to see what we can accomplish with something a little bit lighter. All right, so looking at this palette, we want to do something a little bit lighter, a little bit less smoky. And I will say this particular palette doesn't have a lot of lightness to it. And especially on my dark skin, some of these colors are going to show up a little bit deeper because of like relative color and color theory. So we're going to go in with Sturt. It is one of these lighter colors. And we're going to kind of bring this out and in a little bit. Remember, we're going to build this up a little bit, but we don't want anything too crazy because this is going to be a daytime look. I have to say, daytime looks, not always my thing because I tend to like to go all out with my makeup, but for purposes of today, we're going to go more subtle. All right, now that we have that, I'm going to take, let's take Blizzard right here. It's just a little bit lighter. We're going to kind of use the same brush and kind of bring that in just a little bit. Now I'm very lightly touching my skin here because I don't want it to go too deep. I think that's honestly really easy to do with a palette like this, is make something just a little bit too deep. But actually right now, that's great. We're gonna just take the same brush and bring a little bit more Sturt on to the bottom lash line. And we're gonna pinch our brush like this, just run it in our lash line right there. Love that. Okay, now that we've got that, I'm gonna actually use Supernovic. This is the more foiled color. Oh, and I said I was gonna go lighter with this, but I still ended up using a bright color. But we're gonna fix that a little bit. Using this brush, we're gonna go back into Blizzard, and we're gonna kind of blend these two together, the skirt and the other color. See, nothing too crazy, nothing too dark. All right, I'm trying to decide what to do for the very last look. We're gonna do an all over skirt color. I think this skirt color is my favorite color in the whole palette. So we're gonna pack that on our lid right here. And kind of blend upward. And then, using a precision blending brush, let's go ahead and use this shade, Contrail. Yeah, Contrail. And we're going to work that up a little bit. Just so that we have a really nice, smooth, soft blend. All right. Then we're gonna use the same blending brush, and we want a really smooth dispersion of the glitter all over our eyelids. So we're gonna use Rhyme right here, dip into that, and just really lightly, we're not wetting our brush. We're gonna concentrate in the middle and pull outward. Just so that we get some glitter, but not too much. And then I'm gonna take Rhyme and put it here. All right, I'll put on mascara and be right back. All right, mascara on. What do you guys think of these two other looks? I have to say, honestly, after all the negative talk about this look, I am not surprised that people are like, oh, I don't know about it, but it is honestly really pretty. And I think that you can make really beautiful smoky looks with this really, really, really easily. There's also a lot of opportunity to create some softer, more pretty looks with this palette as well. I think that people have it wrong. And if you're listening to people who think that this is the most beautiful palette ever, or things like this are the most beautiful palette ever, I mean, they're always going to say that. For me, I think that if you like a cool toned eyeshadow, or if you like gray toned eyeshadow, this is a great palette. I mean, yes, it's $69. Yes, it's very expensive. However, I just showed you can create really soft looks or really smoky looks really easily with this palette. And there's a lot of versatility with that. That being said, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for an everyday palette, or an everyday palette that can go from day to night really easily, I think that this is a great palette. Natasha Denona did do a good job. And honestly, haters gonna hate, because as much as people say like this wasn't the palette for them, blah blah blah, this palette, the Midi Xenon palette, there was a reason she made the bigger Xenon palette, because it was, I think, one of Sephora's best sellers of her palette for a long time. So I mean, take what people say with a grain of salt. If this color story really is drawing you in, I would say go for it. I'm gonna say, like, don't listen to those people that are like, oh, this is a great color story, or it's really boring, or it looks like it's a grayscale, because it really is. It turned out beautifully, and I could create plenty of looks like these. Probably these aren't the only looks that I've could have created with this, and there's a lot of opportunity to do something soft or really smoky with this. So it does seem to me that people are not giving this the shot that it deserves, and that it's a lot more versatile than what people are giving it credit for. If you like videos like this, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I put out at least one long video a week and multiple shorts every week. I hope to see you soon. Bye!